Okay, so I wanted to do another part series on unfolding information concerning the man. I don't even want to say his name and give him credit like that or clout, because I really feel like this person did these murders because he is a megalomaniac. You know what I'm saying? And I think that that's what for him to ultimately turn the gun on himself after committing the murders was an act of megalomania. He was a narcissist and megalomania, and he wanted the attention. That's why he went on Facebook Live and recorded going in and, after he murdered the first woman who was his ex girlfriend who was pregnant, and then went over to his ex-wife's house to murder her with his two girls in the car. The two girls he claims he didn't have custody of. He did have joint custody with the ex-wife. Did they go through custody hearings? Yes. On the court papers and things like that, it shows that he had to go through mediation with a counselor, with somebody in the judicial system, classes, parenting classes, and things like that. Which is not something that is targeting just the man. Courts have the mother and the fathers both go into these mediations, and both go to parenting classes. So while he's sitting here telling his audience that he's been targeted by the judicial system and they treated him unfairly, no, because both parents have to do that. That's part of the when you do go to the courts to get child support, or you do develop custody. That's one of the requirements for both parents. It's not just a target on men. So him crying and saying that he was targeted was bullshit. Okay, so I want to touch on a few things. Now, knowing that his two daughters were in the car when he committed these murders, that in itself, if anybody really pays attention to the mental illness when it concerns that type of manipulation. So knowing he was going to kill himself, right? Because he said he wasn't going back to prison. Knowing he's going to kill himself, he has two daughters in the car. What type of lesson, quote unquote, was he trying to teach his two daughters? I'll tell you. He was trying to tell his two daughters that you better pay attention to your husband. You better pay attention to the man you're with, because if you don't do what he wants you to do, these are going to be the results: death. He showed his two daughters, by murdering two women with his children in the car, that the ultimate result of disobeying, quote unquote, the husband, quote unquote, the man who has fathered your children, you will be put to death. That is the subliminal and the outright message he was sending his two daughters when he committed those murders with his two daughters in the cars. It was not just some willy-nilly, oh, okay, he had the kids in the car, yes, da-da-da-da-da. No, he purposely did that. Because if he really was about, the sanity and preventing his children from that type of message, he would absolutely not have had the kids in the car. He would have took his kids either back to the mother or somewhere to a family member's house before he did that. Okay? He purposely chose to have his girls in the car when he committed the murders. There was reasoning in his mentally ill mind to do so. Okay, so I just want to point something out, because I do have a lot of people that have put the information about his court situation on websites, on channels, and I'm going to be honest with you. I'm looking at it, right? And and it's unfortunate the judge closed the domestic violence cases against him, that the wife she had written letters to the court, right? The ex-wife, I'm sorry. There was a peace order that was closed in 3/01/2019, and all of the court cases that he has had, and this is what I want to tell you, he is no victim. He is not innocent. Okay, he has a case with the University of Maryland medical system, or they have a case against him. Pasadena Receivables Inc. was against him. Howard County, Maryland, was against him. There were several others that there is no listing as to. One was domestic violence, which was closed on 4/7/2020. Another domestic violence that was closed on 4/7. Well, it looks like the same one. So it was transferred. Says it was transferred, which means she did mention that they sold a house, or it was mentioned that they sold a house, and which is why she was in an apartment when he murdered her, because they had sold a house, and she was in that apartment after selling the house that they had together. That's one. So most likely when it says that it was transferred, it was probably transferred to a different county that she resided in after they sold their house mutually and were divorced. Okay. Let's see. So I'll just read off a lot of them. 4/6/2009. He has that's when he had the State of Maryland Central Collections Unit. Let's see, 7/28/2000. He has a Credit Acceptance Corporation versus him. I don't know what that is, but it's something totally different. Has absolutely nothing to do with his ex-wife. None of this does. The majority of the accounts have, the only thing are like 3 accounts that have something to do with his ex-wife and him threatening her. Okay. And the ex-girlfriend, it doesn't show anything of her charging him with anything. So I would venture to say he was being abusive to his ex-girlfriend, and she said, okay, well, if you continue to do this, I will go to the cops too, like your ex-wife. That is more like what happened, okay, to keep him off of her, to keep him from being violent against her. There's a 2018, okay, that was with his ex-wife. 7/16/2018 was with his ex-wife. And then it says Black versus University of Maryland Medical System Corporation. That has nothing to do with his ex-wife, and that was on 10/9/2020. He has arbors at Arundel Preserve. That was at 7/11/2019. 1/10/2020 was an arbor and Arundel Reserves versus him again. So we have one for 2020 and 2019. There's one for 2018 seasons, the DSA Seasons of Laurel LLC against him. There's another one in 2018. So 5/10/2018 and 6/12/2018. So anyways, point to say is that a lot of the court things that he was dealing with absolutely had nothing to do with family court, and absolutely nothing to do with his ex-wife. There's only, let's see this one. So it was reopened. Wendy reopened something on 7/16/2018 with him. And it's showing what is court case CT. Okay. Here's another one. Okay, 1998 Pasadena Receivables Inc. versus him. 2000 Credit Acceptance Corporation versus him. I mean, Howard County, Maryland versus him in 2004. So it is all the things that he's going to court for are those is he really going to blame his ex-wife for all of these problems? No, because before he even met his ex-wife, he was going through a lot of different things. Here's something in 1999, Whip Management Company. So he can't blame his ex-wife for all of the things that he's done in his life that were either unsavory, not smart, or fraudulent, or whatever the case may be. I don't know. I'm just saying. So he has cases stemming all the way back from 1999. He was not married to his wife in 1999. Ex-wife. And let's see. Yeah, there's only like 3 things on his court records that show it stems from anything between him and his ex-wife, and the majority of the police reports, what I see, what people have presented, I'm going to read them. Let me get back. Because it's unfortunate people just believe bullshit when people just get on social media and just cry out their tears and claim that they're victims and they're really not. So hold on, let me put this down so I can do this. I can't really read her writing, but this is a petition for protection and peace order. And let me see if I can find the date on this one. Doesn't have the date. Let me see. Just a moment. I can't see the date. Oh, here we go. Friday, September 7th. He took our... Hold on. Damn it. Hold on. Trying to get it to blow up so I can see it, but then when I try to turn it, he took our children without consenting or communicating beforehand, and had not returned them to me when I asked. On September 8th, he removed, let me see here, come on, let me see. He removed my cell phone from my jacket pocket, and he has pushed, shoved, threatened, and bitten me in the past. I am afraid of him and his anger, and do not, want him to know where I live. He has access to weapons, guns, and has been known to abuse drugs and alcohol, and he has also threatened to beat the kids or shake the baby. And he's been abusive to our small dog. Sometimes have made what does that say? Sworn threats that were very frightening. Okay, so all of the police report, or all of the reports she made kind of go down like that. So these are reports she has made prior to being murdered by him, when he bum rushed and ran into her house. It's unfortunate that the courts didn't take him serious with the threats. It's unfortunate, because had they taken these police reports and the threats that she made, or reported the threats he made towards her seriously, she might still be alive. So that's the problem I have, is that when somebody makes a report like this and feels that they're unsafe, and then the courts just disregard it and do nothing, this is where we're at right now. This is where we're at. So there's no protection. Like there should have been, when she made these police reports, there should have been the court should have ordered that they be in the presence of a police officer when they're exchanging the children back and forth, because clearly he lied. when he said he did not have custody because the two girls were in the car when he committed the murders. And he purposely had them in the car when he committed the murders because he is a megalomaniac who wanted them to witness what he was going to do, to frighten his children, to his matter of fact, to frighten his two girls. He had his two girls. I don't know how many children total he had, but there were two girls in the car. His two daughters were in the car when he committed these two murders. So there is no, we're not giving him a pass. Yes, clearly he has mental issues, because nobody does this without having some form of mental illnesses, clearly. But he's not the victim. His family is the victim. His ex-wife, his ex-girlfriend, his children, they're the victims. He's not the victim. It's unfortunate that he didn't want to seek help. He had access. He was in the medical field. He chose not to. When you know that you have something wrong, or you feel like you could do something like this, and clearly he had already threatened her, because here's the police report. He had threatened her prior. So I'm hoping that, let's just say this. What it's looking like, yes, that this is what it is. Are these police reports real? I don't know. But from what I'm getting, this is the actual police report. If it's not, somebody clarify. If these are the actual true police reports, then there is physical evidence of her reporting him for domestic violence. Okay? Prior to being murdered. Just saying.